but I got to move on. I got to read the rest of it. Welcome back. Social media has been keeping us updated on the 2024 presidential election. Let's take a close look at some of the most recent social media updates. In a recent
Should be the real one coming up.
Start the teleprompter from the top. Welcome to Americana. We are back with the latest updates on the 2024 presidential election. I'm your moderator, Raquel Herring, alongside our Democratic host, Shakia Moore, and Republican host, Willie Montague. With just 19 days remaining until Election Day, the race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump is exceptionally close. Every decision counts in these final weeks. Let's dive into today's key campaign highlights and see what's happening on the trail. Kamala Harris may have missed the Al Smith charity dinner in person on Thursday, but her recorded video message took a humorous turn when it was interrupted by Molly Shannon playing her iconic SNL character, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Take a look.
Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Cool. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Mary Catherine Gallagher. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Willie, do you think this playful approach could be seen as a distraction from the serious tone of the campaign?
I don't even know where to start. Of course, it's a distraction. You have 50 million Catholic voters. She made the excuse that she had a prior engagement, which this was and it mentioned in decades since there has been a nominee that has not shown up to the Al Smith dinner. And this should have been something she's shown up to since she needs these 50 million Catholic votes as well. Now, she may think that the Catholic vote may just already be with the Republicans, because we know that, we're making it leadway there. So I think it's an excuse, and I think it was not funny to me at all.
I think it was a great gesture. The nature of the dinner, you're supposed to roast the candidate. You're supposed to have light banters with everyone in the room. I think she read the room and she did it adequately. Those who had a memorable childhood like myself, I think it unlocked a lot of key childhood memories for me. If you ever watched the movie Superstar, you would get the reference. But given my co-host, I'm pretty sure he didn't have that well of a childhood. So we don't know.
Well,
Hey, we're starting out already. On the other hand, former Donald Trump spoke at the Al Smith dinner in New York while Vice President Kamala Harris was the first nominee in decades to miss the event due to scheduling conflict. Trump called her absence sad but not surprising. Shakia, do you think Harris's absence from the event could affect her standing with key voter groups?
I don't think it would affect her standing. I think because there is so much that's at stake right now, she just forfeited to eat her steak at the dinner. And so she was in another battleground state while the dinner was happening. She sent her video in kind gesture. It wasn't as if she just disappeared and didn't send any type of correspondence. And, I think it wouldn't hinder her votes with them at all. I'm pretty sure folks who were there, who were in attendance, who laughed at Donald Trump's jokes, the sarcasm that he spewed, in the audience, I think it was received because that's the nature of the dinner. But those who were in that audience, I'm pretty sure they're going to vote for her anyway on November 5th.
Will,
that's
quickly.
Live from the pit of hell. I absolutely believe that her missing that was something that was serious. And although it was lighthearted, because I had an awesome childhood, but also that it was lighthearted does not mean that the people didn't take that to a serious matter, because these are 50 million Catholics. And so everybody jokes and that, but when they go home, I guarantee, again, former VP, as it's going to be on November 5th, missed her opportunity.
Okay, well, we've got the latest updates from the campaign trail, so stay tuned. Now it's time to switch gears and move on to political programs. Reproductive rights have become a key issue for many voters this election cycle. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have voiced differing opinions, with Trump advocating for state-level decisions on abortion. Donald Trump pushes for nationwide abortion restrictions and wants regulation left to the states. Willie, reproductive rights being such a pivotal issue in this election. Shakia, where do you stand on how you think your candidate can sway undecided voters with Election Day just around the corner?
I think that's a great question. And yes, we know that abortion is such a hot topic for both candidates at this point.
Yes.
There are 10 states currently who will have abortion measures on the ballot. If you are in Florida, that is Amendment 4. But the most important thing that I want folks to take away from this conversation, and any conversation that you have with people at the dinner table, in the community, in the barbershops, is the fact that a woman should have her own right to choose what's best for her and her body, and the government should not have any type of interference, whether that is in the the confines of your home, your bedroom, within your preference of religious beliefs. That should be between you and your God and you and your medical profession, not the government whatsoever.
Okay, so, and I'm going to complete this.
Let's do it.
So I want to make this very clear, okay?
Okay, you go ahead.
Now, I want this is what the surprise that I have for everybody. This is a 12-week-old baby. 12 weeks. I want y'all to zoom in, 12 weeks. There is 2,400 abortions a day. Wow. Imagine 2,400 opportunities for someone to be an attorney, someone to be a doctor, someone to go out there and themselves have the opportunity to raise kids. Now, this is what bothers me. Now, I want to make this clear because the Democrats pander around to black men, black voices. Let's go. You know, they might as well put on black capes and be the next Black Panthers. So they go out there and everything that they do is want to go out there. They pro-black. So I want to zoom in with this. There's not, out of that 2,400, 900 of our black babies are aborted. Now, here we go. Black Americans only make up 13% of the population, but 38% of those are abortions. That is our future leaders, our innovators, and our community leaders. At Planned Parenthood, 80% are in our black communities. We have abortion that devalues our life because we talk about being pro-black and all that. We devalue when we have abortion, and then it causes high risk of depression, anxiety, and guilt post-abortion for these women. And so I know that people say, oh, well, we don't, you know, what right does a man have? I'm not talking about the autonomy of your body. You can have whatever autonomy that you want, but you need to realize that child that's inside of your womb, that child should have an option to live and make choices for themselves.
Can you show us your
the baby again?
Demonstration?
Yes. 12 weeks. 12 weeks.
Okay.
I want you to see this.
So I'm glad that my co-host brought a prop. So since we're wanting to bring props to the table, I don't have a fetus, okay? But I do have a question from my co-host. What is the purpose of a woman's menstruation?
It's to clean.
To clean. To
Yes,
clean what?
Clean out those eggs that are not, that's the flow.
Not been fertilized.
Yes.
Okay. What's the reason that there are different size tampons or menstruation napkins?
Now that I don't know. I can't tell you why there's why is there different sizes?
No. You don't know. Okay. How often does a woman have her cycle?
Once a month.
Okay. What is the earliest age that a child or a woman could have a cycle?
12 or 13.
12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
So you are one of like a few million men who answers some of those questions correctly. Most men that we see don't even know the anatomy of a woman's body, yet they have a lot to say about what a woman should do. Now, my co-host has given you facts about abortion statistics and how they harm black communities. Yes, those things, some of those may be true, but at the end of the day,
all true.
At the end of the day, that should be between you and your God and you and your physician. The government should not have any say-so, and I'm gonna stand on this 10 toes. We, on this stage, do not know what life was like before Roe. Our grandparents may know what it was like before Roe, and they saw, I'm pretty sure they saw, because I've heard some stories from our seniors, they saw that there were a ton of women, not even just black women, but women bleeding out in the streets, folks having their own types of abortions. And then my co-host here and his party will make you believe that many women want to have late-term abortions. If a woman is having an abortion after 24 weeks, it is not because she doesn't want the baby. More than likely and highly, it's because she has had a medical emergency that is causing her to make that decision.
Let me make this statement.
So let's just be clear on why some of these statistic numbers are very high.
She said we don't know, and we're gonna sum it up. We'll bring this back to you guys. What happened before Roe, right? I can tell you what happened before Roe. What happened before Roe is that there was birthing. You know why there was birthing? You and I are on this stage. That is what happened before Roe. People gave birth to allow us to be able to be here today. That's what happened before Roe.
Well, let me ask you this. Given the thank you, moderator. Given the conservative value of limited government, why has there been such a shift towards more regulation in personal and reproductive matters? Is this a necessary form of protection, or does it contradict the foundational conservative principle of individual freedom?
No, I want y'all to understand this, and this is where you get it wrong, and I want this to be very clear when you listen here. No one is getting rid of the exceptions that are out there. Us fighting, no, we're not. Us fighting against this Amendment 4 is saying we don't want you to abort. In Florida, we do not want you to abort a baby within near. And I wish that video would play. But there's a video I want you guys to see where literally it literally shows where she mentioned in the bill that if the mother is in the 3rd trimester, she can abort that baby.
That's not true. We're going to pick up on this another time. Coming up next, find out what's been trending on social media, and we have the latest polls. Don't move. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back. It has gotten hot up in here. Let me tell you. Let's move on to social media. It has been keeping us updated on the 2024 presidential election. Let's take a look at some of the most recent social media updates. In a recent interview, Donald Trump stated that if the department, he will close. I'm sorry, I'm going to get this right. In a recent interview, Donald Trump stated that the Department of Education doesn't support him. If they don't support him, he will withhold funding from them. Take a look.
I'm going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
Okay, Mr. President, here's what bothers me. Here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money. We would save half
Willie,
of our budget.
Okay.
Willie, talk about some of the possible consequences this could have for the education policy in the United States.
Well, listen, I agree. We should defund the Department of Education. And let me explain why we should defund the Department of Education. It is a federal agency, and the education should be put into the hands of the states. Now, if you look at the way that the Federal Department of Education has come in with their government overreach, and they have come in, this is why we're seeing the issues with our children being indoctrinated, not educated. And so what President Trump is talking about, this is why indoctrinated with drag queen hour. We can go down the list of what they're indoctrinated. Drag queen hour, learning how to have oral sex with one another in elementary school, not learning about math, arithmetic, but learning how to have sex in elementary school.
I don't understand why the Republican Party is
sit in front of them and read
on
a book.
Sexual exploitation. All of the rhetoric from not all of it, but a majority of what the Republican Party harps on is sexual. Like, what is the deal? Sexual reproduction. Now you're saying sexual things being taught in school. I learned about sex ed when I was in elementary school.
You know why Republicans have to talk about it? Because Democrats are taking our children and locking them up in their basements and using them for sex exploitation. So if you want to talk about the reason why we're talking about it, is because we need to address the issue that's at hand in the United States of America, and it is the Democrats. Let's talk about Biden and his sniffing and rubbing on children.
Trump is coming off as an authoritarian. What you saw in that clip is him blatantly saying that he will defund the Department of Education.
No,
the very thing that allows people in this country to gain employment, to learn the process of our government. And if he removes funding from the government, that is going to harm not even just black and brown communities, but a whole across the entire United States.
Let me tell you how
that is a playbook right out of Project 25, if you want to be real.
Since you like civic education, let me help you. There is money that is allocated from the federal level that goes to the state, that gives money to the state to be able to educate the children. This is not removing funding. It is removing the federal government from having control of the education system. I think that's a great idea. And anyone who's out there would say, I don't want the government to tell me as the parent how to parent my child. Is that what you're advocating for?
But yet you are wanting the government to tell a woman what to do with her body.
Fake news. That is absolutely not
what part do you want the government to play, and what part don't you want the government to play?
We're going to have to come back. We're going to have to come back. Really, Shakia?
President Trump said he wanted to go to the state.
Really?
This is crazy.
In an episode of Medi Unfiltered, Medi critiques Kamala Harris for struggling to connect with Arab American and Muslim voters, particularly over the stance on Gaza and aid to Israel. He points out that voters are looking for more than just opposition to Trump. They want a candidate they can actively support. Shakia, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I think it's horrible. There is no excuse for there to be a genocide on either side of this. Like, no one wins. Like, war is horrible. Folks have died. Children are separated from their parents. Folks are just displaced and unhoused. Like, all of it together is just horrible. The fact that VP Harris and the Biden administration has not been as forceful with causing the ceasefire is alarming. And it's a sore spot for the campaign. So I don't have any type of debate to fight this. Like, it is a true sore spot for this campaign. And from the DNC roughly 2 months ago, I was hoping that there would have come out of that a plan of action outside of her asking for a ceasefire, but there has been no plan. So that may be a hit to her campaign. Will it cost her campaign? I don't believe it would, but it's definitely a sore spot. And when she wins, that should be the focus alongside other things that are at the top of the ticket, but that should also be a focus for us as a nation.
Willie?
Now I have to agree with that. Now, but I would say this.
I was about to get happy.
As I
agree.
But as I said this, throughout the time, I've been saying this for weeks, she does not have the plan laid out. All she has been targeting, as has been stated, is about Trump. You have to go. Now, this is the thing. Now, she may be paid off by some groups. That's probably why she hasn't made it.
We're not going to make that accusation, and here you go with all these lies. We're not going to say all of that.
I'll just bring the proof, and it's going to be huge. Bigly news, you guys.
Oh, God,
Bigly.
You sound just like your daddy. You sound just like your daddy. Boy, I
I mean,
I was waiting for Daddy
Bigly
Trump to
news.
arrive. Here he is.
Bigly news. I can't wait. It's going to be huge, folks. Huge.
Looks just like your daddy.
And on that note, let's check in on the latest polls. According to a new NBC News poll, the 2024 election is now a dead heat, with Donald Trump pulling even with Kamala Harris. As Harris's popularity declines and abortion remains a key issue for voters, the race has become more competitive than ever. With that being said, Willie, what is your prediction on how polls will look next week?
I think that we'll probably see it steady as a neck and neck. I think it'll probably stay that way till November 5th unless something drastic change over these next 19 days. I mean, anything can happen, but I honestly do believe that it'll probably stay neck and neck or just seeing the lead of one or the other throughout the week as it has been doing all week long.
Okay.
So.
Now, I would have to agree with him on this.
Oh, we got two agreements today, twice
tonight. I would have to agree, though. I don't think if there's nothing drastic that has happened, within the country or this situation over with Gaza, I don't think there's going to be a drastic change. We're going to see it fluctuate every day. But, we never know what tomorrow may bring, so we'll be here again.
Yes. Okay, and Donald Trump is showing strong momentum in all battleground states, according to a new election college map projection. In a surprising turn, Wisconsin has flipped from Vice President Kamala Harris to Trump, who now leads by a narrow margin of 0.1 points. With these recent results, Shakia, what strategy should Harris implement to win back key voters in these crucial states?
Well, the last 2 weeks, she's been on a media blitz. I think she should continue doing those, having hard conversations with folks who are likely to oppose or challenge her. I think being challenged is good. It sharpens you in areas that you may not be comfortable with, unlike the Republican Party nominee who has declined at least 3 or 4 interviews with major news networks recently, but was caught swaying back and forth to the YMCA. So I think if Vice President Harris continues with this stride, continues to go to battleground states and talk to white women in particular, and getting them to see that they can actually make a decision on their own. If they are married or if they have a partner, they can go into that voting booth and vote with their own conscience and make a decision that will impact not just them, but their generations to come.
Willie?
I mean, who wants to be on Crime News Network anyway?
Well, Trump. Vice President Trump.
So who wants to be on Crime News Network? Let's be real.
The only felon that is running for office.
But I want to rewind something. Can we do a rewind real fast? Let's take it back. The whole reason why VP Harris did not attend the Al Smith dinner was because she was in Wisconsin, but somehow President Trump is able to lead in the same place. She should have showed up to that dinner instead of being with them CNN folks, and she would have been able to make that extra point. That proves why I said earlier that showing up matters. Sending a video is cute, and I understand she's not good at answering questions because she's used to being around someone for 4 years that lived their life in a basement. But it's time for that party to come out of the basement and get some work done. So like I said, President Trump doesn't have to show up to interviews. We know that he's the king of making sure that it's going to happen in the United States of America, and that's why we got that dark matter, baby. Let's go.
President Trump does not have to show up for interviews.
He doesn't have to show up for interviews, yet he claims that he is the father of IVF. To me, he is the father of lies, and that is actually synonymous with Lucifer. If you know who Lucifer is, do your research, right? But at the end of the day, I do believe that our country is ready to move forward with someone with poise, someone with dignity, someone with class, someone with an education, not someone who was just sitting around ready to just spew out hate and division. Our country is tired of it. And yes, she missed a dinner. That's not the last dinner that will happen. Once she becomes president, Madam President of the United States, she can invite the Catholics to a dinner at the White House. Wouldn't that be better?
And they'll be sprinkling holy water on as soon as they
Wouldn't
get
that
there.
be better?
Let's find out how she got to the top, but we won't talk about that today. All right?
See what I mean?
So, anywho, like I
The
said,
Republican Party
like I
hates
said,
women.
Thank
no,
you
the
all.
Republican Party does not hate. We love women. We just want to make sure that
Really,
women have
thank you so much. Thank you all so much for tuning into Americana. You can meet us right here Monday at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching.